Yes, here we are. Welcome. Welcome to Cop On Podcast. I'm here with Connor. I'm here with Jack. I'm very excited. It's really nice to see you guys. Connor, you just jumped on at the last moment. How are you today? Tell everybody how the devil it's going.
I am doing absolutely fantastic. Thank you, mate. I'm over the moon that football's back and I don't have to stare at international football for the last week. But yeah, I'm doing fantastic, mate. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day as well.
Oh, yeah, man, you're right. I can't wait for the Premier League. And we've got games every 3 days until October. It's very, very exciting. We've got loads to talk about. I'm a Wales fan as well. Wales and Malta, my national teams. And I probably saw about 5 minutes of one of the Wales matches. Can't even remember who it was against. It might have been the 0-0 against Finland. And it was shit. And I turned it off because it was shit. And I don't know if you follow the Welsh national team, do you, Connor?
No, absolutely. No. Unless it's like World Cup or Euros, I just don't care about international footy.
Exactly. I'm 100% the same. Jack Mac, LFC, great to have you with us. How are you doing, sir?
Not too bad, mate. Thank you very much for having me on. It's lovely to speak to Chat and meet you and Connor as well. But yeah, I concur with what Connor's had to say there, mate. It's great that we've got Premier League football back. I'd be lying to you if I said I actually watched some of the internationals. I watched the highlights on YouTube and that was it. But which we'll discuss the Brazil debacle, which we'll just speak about tonight, mate. But it's gone a bit crazy. But yeah, cheers for having me on, mate.
It's all a bit nutty. So before we really get into it, let me just thank people for joining in. We've got another guest. Josh is here. Josh, you're there. Hey, Josh.
Hello.
How's it going, man? You okay?
I'm fine. How are you?
Very well, very well. A wizard attacked me, turned me into a giraffe not long ago, but I'm fine apart from that. It's really nice to see you. I was just saying, before we get into all of the madness of today, let me just tell everybody that we are sponsored. We are in association with D. Cali Designs, calidesigns.co.uk. As you can see, where is it there? Read that. Go to Cali Designs. You get some amazing stuff. Use the code COPON10. You get this amazing Jurgen Klopp print. He captures the excitement of that European Cup win, doesn't he? He's a really stylish artist, Cali. So do get on that. Thank you to Cali. So now I've got tons of things. We've got loads of special guests today. We've got Angela Merkel looking good. We've got loads of people. We've got loads of things to do. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's kick on. All right. We're basically going to focus on, because we've got Josh. Great to have you with us from the Blue Podcast, Chelsea FC fan. We're going to talk about Chelsea, Aston Villa. We're going to talk about Liverpool with Connor, with Jack. Of course, Liverpool, Leeds, Liverpool. Very exciting match. And it's all good. It's all really exciting. But we're going to start, what should we start with? Let's start with Brazil. Okay, Brazil. God. I mean, shall we, Jack? Shall we just play them and just say that to the Brazilian FA?
Yeah,
fuck 'em. Yeah, exactly. I mean, is that
that looks like a picture of me there when after lockdown? So, it's crazy, mate. As I alluded to before, it's. When this news did break, and obviously one rule for Everton apparently getting allowed good treatment due to them releasing Richie to the Olympics, didn't he? So it should be one case of one rule for all, should be, but other clubs are getting special treatments. And I'd love nothing more than to... I was watching Klopp's interview today in a little small segment from his press conference, and he says it's out of his control and it's out of other clubs' control that he didn't stop the players from going, but obviously the rules and regulations, not just in England but around world football and the governing bodies really. But the club was laughing and he said even he doesn't know, and we all don't know. For me, I'd love nothing more if the clubs, Leeds and Liverpool, just went F you to the Brazilian FA, because it was they have their own view on obviously the Brazil-Argentina match. If we missed it last week, everyone, the game got abandoned due to obviously the I think it was a club official, obviously national officials, and obviously the police coming on the pitch saying that you took about 4 Argentinian players off the pitch due to not being allowed to be in the country due to COVID regulations. And the game got abandoned, but Brazil were happy enough for that game to get abandoned. But now the case of the Premier League Brazilian players, they want it on the shoe on the other foot and saying, right, you can't play them players. So, yeah, it's baffling, mate, and it's crazy. But at the end of the day, I know it's not right, but the clubs pay the players' wages and they should have full control. But it's obviously you're looking into the background of players. The whole point of getting players on visas and everything, it helps massively when they are playing internationally for the club. So it's up 50-50, mate, but it's all crazy.
Yeah, crazy. You use the word baffling. That's a fabulous word to use. Yeah, it is baffling. It is crazy. It is kooky town. Connor, I wonder, because as Hella says, hello everybody in the chat, by the way, really nice to have you with us. Hella says, Man United might be losing Fred. I've got a list of the players affected by the Brazilian FA's, being, dick-headedness. What's the word? Of course, the following clubs are going to be royally pissed off by this. Roberto Firmino, Fabinho and Alisson for Liverpool. Of course, Bobby's injured, but, Ederson and Gabriel Jesus for Manchester City. Rafinha for Leeds United. Fred for Manchester United. And Thiago Silva for Chelsea. Connor, I just wonder, with all this sort of breakaway European Super League, which we are told is not dead as an idea, is it a good idea for FIFA to be pissing off these clubs?
That's a good question. I think saw something earlier about Jurgen. I think it was during Jurgen's press conference. He spoke afterwards about how him, Arsene Wenger, and another FIFA official spoke about this, and Wenger said that they wouldn't get punished for doing the sensible thing. For once in the whole pandemic, the Premier League and all the clubs did something sensible and correct, and they got punished for it. And it's not necessarily the club; it's the players. Like Jurgen said, like as Jack said, the clubs wanted them to go, the players wanted to go, and they got punished for being smart and correct. So someone was lying there, and it's just another statement, isn't it, from FIFA, which is just ridiculous. And it's like Jack said, balls up to FIFA. Just play them. Just do it. Just go on strike if you wanted to. But no, it's again leading that conversation away. With all the big clubs, should they band together and do this? Of course, Liverpool are the most affected by it due to the amount of players that's on the list. But of course, it's just Fabinho and Ali on there. But yeah, it's just it's despicable, the fact that the clubs, in my opinion, have done the right thing, and the Premier League have done the right thing, and the Brazilian FA and FIFA have just gone, no, you shouldn't have done the right thing. You should have just released the players and allowed them to go on and play. So yeah, in my opinion, just shocking, really.
There you go. Shocking. I don't know, crazy, baffling, all of these words. I totally agree. Josh, what do you make of it, finally, this weird situation?
I absolutely love the fact that the clubs didn't send these players away because they didn't want them to quarantine, and technically by law they should have been going to these countries. So what have the clubs done wrong by just following the law and following the health? The clubs are responsible for protecting the players. That's what they did, and they're now being punished for literally following the rules that the government has set. Like the players are no different to us in terms of where they can and cannot travel. So why in the bloody hell has this rule? Why the hell? I just don't understand it. Like, Brazil are literally annoyed that these players can go on international duty, but yet Argentinian players who came from England are getting punished. but the clubs didn't want their, you know what I mean? It is really, it's hard to explain, but it's really hard to explain. But you know what I'm trying to say, and
Yeah, a lot of
it's
double
just like
standards.
it's just like I just don't understand the logic. Now, apparently there was a report, and I don't know how true this is. I don't know this job, but apparently there is. Apparently the Premier League clubs have agreed that they're just going to say F UEFA, F FIFA, and just play the players regardless. I think it's safe to say the only club that is celebrating all of this is Manchester United because they don't have to play Fred. So for us, we only missed Thiago Silva, but with the Reece James suspension, it is actually quite a big loss for us. So. But yeah, it's such a bad situation, and honestly, I just don't get why are the clubs being punished for following the law, protecting their players, and doing the right thing. It's just the Brazilian, whoever the Brazilian FA president is, he's a very very questionable character. But you know, and also can we just say how the hell's Everton exempt from this rule? That is what
because
really
Richarlison played in the Olympics apparently, so he's their
just
golden
corrupt.
boy because he risked injury to play in the Olympics. But anyway, well, you know, it's there's a lot of weird stuff going on, but you know, let's move on. Let's move on to let's go through it. I don't know, chronologically. Nah, let's look at the ones we're interested in. Leeds, Liverpool. Okay, gonna start there. Leeds United versus Liverpool. Let me just bring up my notes here because I actually did some research. Weirdly, of course, the last time that Leeds beat Liverpool at Ellen Road was in the year 2000, I believe, when Mark Viduka scored all 4 goals. And you young guns, you won't remember that game, but I remember that game, and it was a sickening feeling. You might remember when Andre Arshavin scored 4 goals for Arsenal against us. Exactly the same feeling, sort of unforgettable. You know, you're watching the defending and going, why don't you just stop him? You know, because he's not that good. You know, anyway, but you know, well done to him, well done to Leeds. I'm still looking for my other facts here. God, blimey, I've got too many facts. I'm facting out. Oh yeah, after winning both league matches that season, Leeds are winless in their last 8 against the Reds in the Premier League, drawing 3 and losing 5. Liverpool have only failed to score in one of their last 22 meetings with Leeds in all competitions. But Leeds are unbeaten in their last 7 Premier League home games, their longest run without defeats at Ellen Road in the top flight since a run of 15 in 2001. So this is their best run at home in the Premier League for 20 years. It should be a hell of a match. Jack, I'm going to ask you actually, you know, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna, what, I don't know. I was going to say piss all over, but then that's vulgar again. I don't know. All the vulgarities are coming out. I'm a vulgar jellyfish. It's going to piss all over England versus Andorra, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Both attacker-minded managers. We know how watching Manchester United play against Leeds, United have got their number in recent times. Anyway, fixtures, and it's a game that will be very different to Burnley. I think Leeds probably will set up very well. They play a high line and frankly, there should be a lot of space for Mane and Salah and Jota to come in behind, really. But they will give it a go. Patrick Bamford, I think I've seen a report this week that Liverpool were rumoured to be linked with him anyway, but he wasn't happy to be 5th choice striker anyway. But he's got a lot of quality, that young lad anyway, and you will cause us threats. Obviously, we've clicked the Poland international anyway. Very tricky midfield, and obviously the Jack Harrison as well, if he is playing. You've got a lot of very good, talented players. But I think it's a game that will suit Liverpool right down to the tee, right down to the ground, really. And I fully expect it probably will be a high-intensity game like it was against Chelsea a couple of weeks ago. But I'm excited. It's a game that excites me. You're going in from different mindset. From you're playing against Burnley and then you're shifting over to Bielsa's Leeds. It's completely, you approach the game so completely different. But yeah, I'm excited for it, mate. And it will be a great game for the neutral. Hopefully, fingers crossed for us, we get a couple of goals, but it's a game that will excite both sets of fans, and I'm fully expecting Liverpool to get all 3 points.
Excellent answer. You mentioned Patrick Bamford there. I mean, in 4 seasons at Leeds United, which is his longest stint at any club, he played 113 matches, 101 starts, 44 goals and 13 assists. So in the season when they came second in the championship, I believe, or did they? No, they won the championship. He got 16 goals, and then he came into the Premier League and he got 17 goals. So Connor, I mean, there are not many people who actually, sorry, Connor, I'll come to you after because I want to ask Josh on this because he's seen Bamford for Chelsea as well back in the day. Excuse me, Connor. Josh, I'm going to ask you. Is he a player that's getting better and better and better?
Yeah, but he definitely suits the Bielsa system. That's for sure. I know there was a lot of people when he came up from the championship. I know when he came up from the championship, a lot of people were questioning, will it be like another team of Pookie and just absolutely flop in the Premier League? But no, I think he's done very well. He is very much a Bielsa. He is very much a Bielsa striker. If you think about they've got Rodrigo, who they got from Valencia 2 years ago. Rodrigo plays as a midfielder because he's literally not good. He's literally not like a striker for Bielsa. He runs his socks off. He runs the channels. I'm lagging, I can tell.
Absolutely. He runs his socks off. And it's great to see how Bielsa improves players, isn't it? It's really, really nice. Connor, yeah, Bielsa ball. There is this idea that, it's predictable in its way. And it's... Oh, Josh has disappeared. It might play into our hands. Connor, the fact that there'll be spaces, when he defends, he man marks all over the pitch. And I find that a bit crazy. He's man marking all over the pitch. And if we play someone, I mean, I think this could be, we'll get into lineups in a minute, but I think this could be a game for someone like Naby Keita, who if he is being man marked, he'd find it very easy to slip that man marker and then, walk into acres of space and, plunge the metaphorical knife in. Do you think Bielsa's tactics will suit Liverpool because we've got lots of players who can beat their man marker?
I think if you look at both games last year, they were both very entertaining games. As like Jack said earlier, both of them are very attack-minded. Bielsa's style of play can be costly at times, as we saw earlier on the season against Manchester United, when they had their number and just slaughtered them over a 15-minute period. Liverpool, I think, could do that as well in beating their press. I think we thrive under that type of pressure as well. When it's on the other foot of them trying to pressure us, like you said, Naby Keita loves pressure. Thiago as well is another player that loves that type of closed-in pressure, and he can break away and then thrive on. It's going to be. I'm going to say it's going to be a very entertaining game. I'm confident of that, and it will be, I think, a very high-scoring game as well, because whether that's going to be one team or the other, but I just think that both sides could easily cancel each other out, but then could also leave massive gaps for each other as well. It's that up and down thing of where Klopp has got one thing over Bielsa, and Bielsa could have one thing over Klopp. And I was just looking before we came on, the last game at Ellen Road, of course, we were all thinking about the Super League. Wasn't we? And wasn't thinking about the actual footy. So it'll be nice to actually, concentrate on the footy this time instead of not being interested at all.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, that's very true. Just after the news broke, there were all kinds of protests going on. Josh, Leeds United versus Liverpool. From the outside, you would think, I don't know. I would imagine you're hoping that Leeds will be able to take something, either win or draw. I mean, what do you think is going to happen in this one? Do you think Leeds have what sort of percentage chance would you give Leeds of winning or drawing?
It's a really difficult game to call because, Liverpool, we've seen obviously what United did to Leeds at Old Trafford, but this game being at Ellen Road, it's a very different story. And But like Liverpool surely cannot be any worse at creating chances than they were against us. I know we parked the bus and had 10 men and all of that stuff, but surely Liverpool will create far more chances. At Another Road, it's going to be a bit more of a different story, but Liverpool's press, I feel like Liverpool press is going to work really, really well. I fancy the midfield battle. It is just a matter of scoring. Now, the biggest issue for Liverpool, and if I'm not mistaken, Minamino's out, isn't he? He's out of the game.
I've heard that, yes.
Firmino's
and, Firmino is out
Firmino's
as well,
out.
yes.
So that would be what Divock Origi would be your backup option on the bench if it came to it.
Well, no, you said I think we're likely to play as a backup attacker Harvey Elliott more over Divock Origi, but you never know with Klopp. He's not one to, he persisted with for example, Mignolet and Karius long after we might have not done so as fans. Maybe Harvey Elliott off the right, and then you move, if there was an injury to Jota, for example, who presumably is going to play in the centre, and he goes off injured, then you could have Mane stepping into the centre or Salah stepping into the centre, and Harvey Elliott playing on one of the wings.
Well, it's possible, but my point is that you don't really have a lot of options, to kind of bring in. So it's important that Liverpool do get up to a very, very fast start. Otherwise, you're playing to Leeds' hands, and the options off the bench aren't particularly there. But I'm going to be ambitious. I'm going to go for a result that probably Liverpool fans aren't even going for. Connor, I'm actually going to go for a win for Liverpool, which might come as a surprise to you. I'm going to go 3-1.
Angela likes it. 3-1 to Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool. Yeah, Leeds are definitely suffering second season syndrome. They definitely are being exploited more defensively than the last year, which I didn't even think was humanly possible. I think Jota's going to get 2 goals.
Okay, very good stuff. It says, we don't know if we've got our key players yet. In terms of a lineup, Jack, without the key players that Hella's talking about there, we would have Kelleher in goal.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be a big shout from Jurgen if he did select Adrian. I think he's a big part in the changing room, and that's why a massive factor in which he got that new contract. As much as Liverpool fans were in disarray of like the news happening, but he's a big character, and obviously he was rewarded by Klopp. I think he will select Kelleher, mate. I think we'll see Matip and Van Dijk. I know Van Dijk did go down, and everyone on social media or every single Liverpool fan around the world winced when Van Dijk went down. But he's a big lad. I think didn't he break his finger or something? And the physio popped it back in. Popped it back into place, just casual as you like.
So he bust his finger. He got whacked on the ankle. He was limping for a bit, and everyone, worldwide panic amongst the Liverpool fans. But yes, there you go. You're absolutely right, though. Yeah, we're going to play Kelleher, Connor. We're going to play Robertson, Van Dijk, Matip, and Alexander-Arnold. I would suggest, although you never know. But then, Connor, what would you do in midfield? I mean, I've gone for Henderson in the 6, Milner over Thiago, which might be a little bit controversial, but I just think Milner's, even at 34, 35, he's still got the legs to run back if he loses the ball, if we lose the ball. And Naby Keita, for reasons I've said earlier. But who would you go for in midfield, Connor?
I think it's the $1 million question for the weekend for Liverpool. Milner's actually a really good shout, but I think he'll be coming on off the bench. I think he'll be coming on to settle things down instead of, being there. And the hell no to Adrian, Doug. For me, Hendo in the 6, it's a must. And then I'd agree with Naby Keita. I think he must start. And then it's Thiago Alcantara for me. I think just having them two there in high pressure situations. Like, I can't wait for that midfield. I'd love it if Fabinho was there, because then maybe we might have got Fabinho, Hendo, and Thiago perhaps, or maybe even Naby instead of Thiago. But I'm just hoping anyway that them two, because I don't think they've played together at all at starting a game for Liverpool. So which, if that's true, that'd be a mad stat. I believe it's true, but I'm just interested to see how that midfield works because, having Fabinho there, I think would be a lot more reassuring. But because of Hendo, he isn't a 6, is he? He's more of an 8, but has been adopted to the 6 role. So either way, I think for me, that's a very happy midfield for the Reds.
I have an interesting team.
Go.
My team that I would have faced Liverpool to play against Leeds. This is from my unbiased Chelsea perspective. Right?
Yeah,
we're going to go Adrian and goal.
Because you want us to lose.
We're going to play.
You want another Aston Villa?
We're going to go Fabinho right back. We're going to put James Milner and Tim Miskins at centre back, and then we're going to throw Navigator at left back. And we're going to play a middle three of Harvey Elliott, some player I'd never heard of, and then we're going to bring Ben Woodburn back from loan because why not? Yeah. And then we're going to play Divock Origi. And then we're going to chuck Kelleher, your goalkeeper, up front with some random other youth player I've never heard of. Bring back Ryan Kent.
That's the game we'll play in January if we get injuries.
Exactly.
No, Brendan Rodgers at the Burnabout. That's just all over that, to be fair.
That's right. No, it's very good, very unbiased. But yeah, it reminds you of that team that Klopp brought out for Everton that time. We won 5-2. But there you go.
Don't mind me, Monster Chips.
So I carry on. Bon appetit. Bon appetit. I got in touch with Steph, who's a fish, and she's quite well connected. She wanted to share this story about Rafinha for us.
Rafinha, I once actually saw him in the trash. It looked like he was hiding there. I opened up the trash can, and Rafinha was in there. I said, "Are you all right? You want to get out? You need help getting out?" And he said, "No." So I closed the trash can.
I mean, it's an interesting story. I don't know. Rafinha. I don't know what he was doing in there, but he's a dangerous player. I would love to see him at Liverpool. Jack, what do you think, Rafinha?
Probably Jurgen Klopp took him to the bins. He likes Blackpool Tower or something, so he's probably chatting him up. Hope he doesn't get another suspension. You never know, Jurgen. He's a quality player, mate, and it's massive, a big positive that he isn't playing. If what we've been discussing today, if both clubs don't play the Brazilian lads, but it'd be a massive plus for, I think, when me, you, and Connor and most Reds, we've discussed potential for fifth choice attackers to add to this squad. He's 24, 25, obviously played in French Ligue 1 his previous years before moving to the Premier League, but he's adapted so well, and making that transition from French football to the Premier League, certain players, it's not gone as well as he has, but like most Brazilians, South Americans, when he comes to the Premier League, they haven't looked out of place, and if he is playing or if he isn't, but he will be on Liverpool's radar, especially people putting 1 and 1 and getting 7. This transfer window just going, Rafinha's coming to Liverpool because Dan James has gone the other way. But yeah, it'd be a quality player if Liverpool did bring him in a couple of years, but it won't be cheap. And just a quick one on that lineup, lads, as well. I think it'd be a massive positive if Harvey Elliott does play. I think obviously he was ruled out due to injury. I think this week, precautionary, rumoured one anyway. But if he is fully fit, I think this game would very much suit him in terms of how open the game is and the sheer intensity of both teams. But Rafinha, what a baller!
What a baller, yeah, absolutely. And Harvey Elliott as well. I mean, good Lord. Loaded, the potential of the guy. He's 18 years old and he's got the not just the world at his feet, he's got the solar system and beyond. Rafinha, looking at his stats, they're blowing my mind here. Leeds United finished, I think they were 10th around that last season. And despite that, Rafinha is in the 91st percentile for expected assists. He's in the 88th percentile for progressive passes. That's passes towards the opponent's goal of at least 10 yards, the 88th percentile compared to all the other attacking midfielders and wingers in the top 5 leagues in Europe, according to FBref.com. He's in the, they're really good, his stats. He's in the 82nd percentile for interceptions and the 90th percentile for clearances. So defensively, he's really, really hot as well. So he's like an all-round player.
That'd suit very much a Jurgen Klopp hire, wouldn't he?
Yes.
We've spoken in recent times, obviously.
Totally.
We watched Salah, Mane and Firmino, probably the best at it in the league in terms of, everyone jokes, defensive striker. But in a Klopp system, and especially in a Bielsa system, mate, that's what you need. Players to press high, and that's it. I didn't really know that much. It's a great stat, that, Owen, from Rafinha, and that would be a massive factor in terms of Liverpool potentially scouting him as well, mate. But that's spot on.
Owen, where's the cream? Can I have jelly?
Exactly. Yeah, you're getting hungry. You want to eat the head.
That's going to be Leeds' defence tomorrow. It's going to be wibble wobble Leeds are on a plate.
I hope so. Well, there you go. No, I don't know. It's putting me off here. Maybe. Okay, something a bit more sensible. Okay.
Just as cold as you're looking just as cold as Liverpool's attack against Chelsea.
Oh, hey, very good. This is like Lukaku's performance. Yes, against okay.
I think he's got a bit more movement apart away from Matip, mate. That penguin.
Excellent stuff. We got okay. Let's move on. Let's talk about this. Crystal Palace against Tottenham. Crystal Palace under Patrick Vieira. Tottenham under Nuno. I don't know who's got an opinion. I don't know who's got any kind of opinion about Crystal Palace Tottenham. Are you going to watch it? Do you give it?
I'm just going to say. I'm just going to say quickly because mine is actually so simple. All right. It's literally going to be Patrick Vieira's team that has no clue what their shape is. They're not going to have a clue how to set up. Nuno's going to go out, play a 1-0, park the bus, Spurs win, boring game, going to turn it off a match of the day when it comes on match of the day. That's all I'm going
to say. There you go. The quick capsule review. That's absolutely very succinct from Josh there. Connor, you had something that you wanted to say?
Well, I don't think I can really add to that, really. Josh has done that perfectly and simple. It's Patrick Vieira, I know Doug had this where he was saying it's just and many people as well, the Frank de Boer situation. I know that they've signed really, really good young talent, but it's the problem where Patrick Vieira is so unknown in management. I know he was a Nice manager, I think, what was it, like a year ago or something like that, and I don't think he had a good spell there. But yeah, like Josh said, it's going to be Spurs, Harry Kane, because he likes to show up after August, and it'll just be Tottenham 4 wins out of 4, and it'll just be overhyped again.
Interesting. I want to know you like that. So I've done my research. You ready for this? Patrick Vieira at Nice, during the whole league season, he played 22 different formations.
Wow.
He doesn't have a set system of formation. Palace have already played 4-4-2, 3-5-2, 4-3-3, 4-5-1. I don't know. You don't know how he'll set up against Spurs.
Game of FIFA 21 now.
He reminds me of Unai Emery with the constant change of formations. It doesn't end well, especially in the Premier League.
I think Unai Emery was so badly treated. Okay, he made a couple of dodgy decisions in the transfer market, but I think he did really well with Arsenal.
Even Antonio Conte can sort that Arsenal team out. It's too much of a mess.
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, just in terms of the players they just have problems all the way through their team, but we'll get onto them soon enough. Crystal Palace, it says here, on my research, they're set to become the first side to start a top flight campaign with 4 consecutive London derbies. However, they are winless in their last 11 London derbies, drawing 6 and losing 5. So if you've got any, what do they call them, accumulator bets, Ackies, put it on Crystal Palace at least
responsibly.
Not winning. Well, yeah, I'd say don't even bother betting at all. There's only one winner, and that's the betting companies themselves. But there you go. We won't get into that. Tottenham have started a league campaign with 3 wins and 3 clean sheets for the first time in their history. Only 4 teams have ever, since football began, have ever started a top-flight campaign with 4 wins and no goals conceded. Aston Villa in 1900-01 season. Ipswich Town in 74-75 under Bobby Robson, Chelsea in 05-06, and Manchester City in 15-16. So that's a kind of amazing stat, I think. But there you go. And Crystal Palace have managed fewer shots, only 20, and fewer shots on target, only 5, than any other team in the Premier League this season. So only 20 shots and only 5 on target so far. I fear for them, but I do like Conor Gallagher. There you go. Let's move on though, unless you have something to say. Yeah.
Don't worry.
Oh, love you too, Josh. Love you all. Love the listeners. Love the watchers. Love
Except for
everybody.
Connor.
Wow!
Wow!
I hope Chelsea get Europa League.
Well, they might. No.
At least you didn't say European. At least you didn't say European Conference League. At least you didn't go that low.
I don't know. You might be worse than Arsenal. I can't see that.
Excellent. Yeah, the Conference League. My God, how embarrassing. But yeah, we'll be there before long. Watford, Wolves. Watford have won each of their last 10 home league games, which is kind of surprising. Their longest ever winning run at Vicarage Road, and they've kept 8 clean sheets. But since beating Liverpool 3-0 in February 2020, which Connor and Jack are still recovering from, as I am, Watford haven't kept a clean sheet in any of their 13 Premier League matches. At home, I think that is. I'm not sure. No, because that was at Anfield they beat us, wasn't it? Okay, 13 Premier League matches they've played, apparently, without keeping a clean sheet. So there you go. Who knows what's going to happen? Wolves against Watford. Wolves have been very unlucky. They haven't scored many, but they've created loads of chances. Raul Jimenez has been cleared to play because the Mexicans are cooler than the Brazilians, at least in the Mexican FA. And so they rescinded their sort of ban. But there you go. What do you make of either Watford or Wolves, Connor? I mean, what do you make of this one?
If Adama Traore could finish, he'd be £100 million player. Look, he's one guy that could just destroy the league year in, year out, but can't finish for a chocolate biscuit. The fact is that Watford's squad, for me, looking at it after the transfer window, it just reminded me of a very Championship style squad. I don't know whether or not that's really harsh. But just looking at the players that left as well on transfer deadline day and looking at the squad as a whole, I can't see them staying up at all. I think they're the team with the least chance, in my opinion, to stay up. But if anyone watches Ben Foster's vlog thing, it's quite funny watching that, to be fair. But yes, I think Wolves are going to win 1-0 and they'll have a ton of chances.
1-0. I mean, it's entirely plausible. Entirely plausible. I don't know. Jack, do you have much to say on this one? Do you want to talk about the next one?
Yeah, no, Wolves, mate. I watched them against Manchester United, and it could have been 3-4-0 in the first 15-20 minutes to Wolves. It's weird when you do watch Wolves, because when they come to Anfield, probably one of the most impressive sides in recent years, and the way under Nuno. But since Nuno's left, I think. Bruno Lage, probably butchered that. But I thought he would have really struggled. But I think all the games he's been beaten this season have been 1-0s, and as he alluded to before, Owen, you'd be more concerned if they were losing games and they weren't playing well, but they're losing games but playing well and still getting beat, which is mad. But as Connor has alluded to, Adama, I think they seriously need to identify Sutton. Obviously, as you mentioned, Raul is coming back into the lineup, but if they can just get a couple of goal scorers up front, same for Watford. I know Connor alluded to the squad in which they've got, but Ismail Assar, I think when he beat Aston Villa first weekend of the Premier League season, if they can get him fully fit for the whole longevity of the Premier League season, I think he will have enough quality to keep them in the league, because we've seen certain players in certain campaigns in recent times that you come up to the boil really and elevate their game. And if you do stay in the Premier League, I think they'll very much struggle to keep hold of size. You mentioned they absolutely tore us to bits. Everyone was like when they were last in the Premier League, as we all know, Owen. But I think if they can keep him, I think I'm going to go for a Watford win, because I think I can't see Wolves finishing the dinner anytime soon, and I think it'll be the same old. But it wouldn't surprise me if Wolves actually turn up for 1 week and start scoring some goals. But it'd be an exciting game.
Yeah, no, it is interesting, and it will be good to watch this one, I think. Bruno Lage has got them playing quite well. I just looked at the XG table according to Understat, right, and Wolves are down in 18th. But if they had, got their expected points, which is worked out, it takes into account your expected goals scored and expected goals conceded, then Wolves should be 8th in the league after just 3 games. But they should be 10 places higher. They should have scored a lot more. But I think the problem with XG, it shows it up, is that if you've got Adama Traore, who Connor mentioned as, particularly poor finish, although there's so much to his game that's just beautiful to watch, and we share a birthday, the 25th of January. Write it down. I accept cake and brownies.
I make good brownies, so you're fine there.
Oh, yeah, you're a baker. Josh is a baker.
What are you going to say? You were sharing baby lotion, Owen? Because he likes to put oil himself up on the... I tell you, imagine if you were defending him, you'd be slipping all over the gaff.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to do another very quick summary of Watford and Wolves. Right, Wolves are going to be the Brighton of last year. They've got Dan James, but the fat version. Raul Jimenez doesn't look like the same player. That head injury clearly had an impact. They don't really have much attacking options.
That's a good call.
They're a team that's adapted into a new style. They play boringly bad football, probably the worst football we had last season under Nuno. Adapting to a new style, they'll be fine. They'll be mid-table once they find an extra kind of feat. Watford, there's a manager hanging on time. He'll be sacked within a few weeks. They're bringing another dodgy man in from probably Saudi Arabia we've never bloody heard of. He'll be sacked. They'll get relegated. They're irrelevant. They're going to go down, and that's as simple as that.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, Josh, you got it all sorted tonight, man. You've been looking in the crystal ball. Excellent stuff. Yeah. Okay. I think. I think that's an interesting call. Will they be this season's Brighton? Speaking of Brighton are playing Brentford, I believe. Brighton. Neil Maupay has actually started hitting goals, hitting the ball into the goal. He's actually started kicking the ball in the net, which is quite a good skill, Connor. Brighton are looking fabulous, of course, with my favourite. My favorite. Is it really my? Yes, my favorite midfielder outside the top 6, Yves Bissouma. Love the guy. What do you think of Brighton, Connor?
I think every Liverpool fan loved Bissouma at one point in this transfer window. To be fair, Interest FC, I think that's the best way of calling us. But Brighton, they've always lacked a finisher, haven't they? If Maupay can become that, then I think they'll be sound this season. I know Brentford, I've only watched them against Arsenal, and they played very attractive football. I know Jack Pantoni. He's a very quality striker. Like, can dominate with the ball, can lay off it, build up play and that. And he's, for me, if Brentford do go down, he'll be a player for me that will go to a big club. In my opinion, I think he has it in that aspect of things. And yeah, I think for me a draw is all over this. I'm going to go probably 2-2. I think I'm going to be adventurous, but I think they're going to. I think it'll be a draw.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to go for a Brentford win. No. Brighton, Bissouma's playing I'm gonna say Brighton win 2-0. But there you go. We're gonna skip through this like a kangaroo does to the bush. And so I'm just gonna go to the next one. Arsenal Norwich. Oh man. Arsenal Norwich. The what did someone say on Twitter?
Championship fixture.
A championship fixture, someone called it, the unstoppable object against the immovable whatever.
Quick review is I'm just going to keep these until the Chelsea one, right? Arsenal, they're a fucking shambles. Arteta's literally the fraud manager, worst manager in the league. He's a disgrace to the name football manager. I could do a better job. And my football history manager isn't particularly good.
You actually have brownies, though. That would be good for morale.
I actually have Norwich winning this game. When there's always a club, when there's always a big club that's in danger of a big manager being sacked, there's always a massive game that kind of just basically ends it all. This game just screams Norwich going to the Emirates. Maybe not win, but at least get a draw. I just don't see where Arsenal creating barely any chances. They are shambles. They don't know their best system. They look out of confidence. Arteta, generally, you've seen him on the sideline against City. He had no clue. He sat there. He had no clue what to do. He's trying to copy Pep Guardiola. It's a fucking shambles. Bring on the Amazon Prime documentary. They're going to lose to Norwich.
All or nothing. It's going to be definitely nothing.
And listen, we all remember Norwich got some good points against some of the big six teams last season. Remember the bet Manchester City at the started their last season.
3-2.
So they have it in their locker. They'll get the big one against the top six. They'll finish probably bottom of the league, and Arsenal are going to again be embarrassed. But listen, are we all going to complain? Because it means we get a nice little Saturday evening laughter.
Well, I feel too sorry for them to laugh at them. I really do. It started off as fun, but it's like when you burn the school gym down when you're 8 years old. And, it starts off as like a fun, nice little fire, but then in the end you regret it. As we all know, we could all relate to that story. Arsenal, I see what you're saying, Josh, but history would say the opposite, because Arsenal, this is their first 3 p.m. Saturday game in the Premier League since June 2020, when they lost 2-1 at Brighton. But at home, the Gunners are unbeaten in their last 26 3 p.m. home kickoffs. So, Jack, Arsenal, they're 1-21. They've drawn 5 of their last 26 3 p.m. Saturday kickoffs. Surely even Mikel Arteta can't screw this one up.
I think he will. It's going to be difficult. I know that's a great stat, that no one really, but the running form in which, when I watched our first Friday game at the Premier League season, when everyone was like, "Oh, they'll beat Brentford." Brentford actually played them off the park, and the positive for Norwich going into this game is Norwich have played us, City, and they played Leicester, and they were just being beaten by Leicester 2-1. And they could have really got a point out of that game, but they've probably done it. I know Norwich have been battered the last 3 fixtures, but they're going into a game where they've played better. They're probably the best teams in the league. Not of the Arsenal coming off the back of not playing anyone really big. Just a quick look at who they have played. Arsenal, Brentford, obviously they lost. Chelsea, expected to lose there, and obviously Man City. But I can't see them going out of it. Good luck.
Here's a really good question. All right, is Arsenal realistically playing just as bad as Norwich did in those first 3 games?
Well, if you look at the XG table, Josh, that I've got in front of me, then Arsenal are bottom of the expected points table.
Well, there you go.
As well as they are bottom of the actual table. So
both teams are struggling to score. Both teams are a shambles defensively. I think Norwich have a better midfield than Arsenal do. I generally see Norwich getting something in this game. And scarily enough, I do see it happening.
It could be Hella's saying that it's 1-0 to Norwich, and Hella's saying that she's firmly Arteta in. She loves it. But sorry, carry on, Jack. You had something?
Yeah, it was just. I think that's Arteta coming in. He's having a moan. Sorry, Till.
Okay.
Just let the cat in. So if you wonder what that weird noise is, it's the cat. It's not me making weird noises.
Okay.
That's standard anyway for me. But as you know, but yeah, I can positively see Norwich getting all 3 points. I think Rishika, obviously Buendia, Buendia left Norwich, but I think they haven't really missed him. Obviously, Timo Pukki, he's not really had that chance and running really to really establish himself. I tell you, if they can get him up to a run of form, I think he will cause Arsenal a lot of problems. Jeff Sargent, obviously from the Bundesliga, they've got a lot of difficult, tricky players that I think they will cause Arsenal a lot of problems. It just stems from the whole leadership with Arsenal. We've all grew up watching Arsenal from a young age of having real leadership qualities. And when he played City last week, yes, Granit Xhaka got sent off, but even when he went off, Arteta's inability to change a game of football, we all seen it as neutrals watching that game. Why did he continue to go forward? There was so much space in behind. It was crazy.
To your point, right? He played a 5-4-1. Why did he play Ellie Smith-Rowe, an attacking midfielder, in a two-man defensive partnership? And why did Odegaard play on the right wing, completely out of position against Manchester City?
It's very strange. It's very strange. Weird, strange things are afoot at the Arsenal and in Arteta's mind, obviously. Absolutely. But we got to move on because otherwise we'll be here all night. Man United, Newcastle. Hella will be interested in this one. Connor, what do you make of it from the outside? Cristiano back, all of the fanfare, but they got no Scotty Mac in the number 6. Fred is being banned by Brazil. And, I think that, they'll probably have to play old man Matic. And, because otherwise they got no one, literally no one in that defensive midfield position. And I think maybe I had a dream that it was 2-2. And am I just dreaming, Connor?
No, can't wait for Steve Bruce to do a masterclass.
Tactical masterclass.
Just watching Ronaldo's face just when Steve Bruce is just having like 16 people in the back, including the fans. No, look, this game is just Ronaldo central, isn't it? I thought Liverpool with Ibrahim Konate was bad in terms of like waiting for the announcement, then the announcement, then the announcement again. Ronaldo's had like 12 announcements, and like I was just like, oh, for God's sake, seriously, their social media guy must be struggling for content apart from Cristiano Ronaldo. But no, I could see Newcastle upsetting them. I think this is a welcome. It'll be like a welcome home party for Manchester United and Ronaldo and that, and hopefully Steve Bruce and the masterclass that is Steve Bruce can derail that. Do I think they'll beat Manchester United? No, I don't. So I'm going to go with you, Owen. I think it'll be a draw, and I think it'll be 1-1.
Okay. I think I don't know. I really want your opinion, Josh, on this because, again, from the outside as a Chelsea fan, I was listening to Phil Thompson. You might not know him, Josh, because you're not a Liverpool fan, but I think he won 3 or 4 European Cups, which is more than your club. Excuse me. But he was saying that... no, excuse me. I didn't mean that to come out quite so aggressively. He was saying that... it was Zlatan and Cristiano Ronaldo. Perhaps there are parallels, Josh, because, Zlatan, when he played for United, he was like, the lollipop stick. You just stick it in the ground. And then whenever the ball comes in, he's got some kind of automated legs and a sort of, a head on a sort of spring that can spring up and he can score you some lovely goals. I believe Zlatan got about 25 goals for Manchester United. But as soon as they were defending, United had huge holes. It was like a plot, of Coronation Street or something like that. Loads of holes in it. So Is Ronaldo going to be the same? Like, no pressing, nothing. It's going to be like defending with 9 outfield players every single match, or is he going to, set the world on fire?
Right. So, first of all, in terms of Newcastle, listen. Every single time since Liebert has been in charge of Newcastle, they have literally been awfully bad, and then all of a sudden he just comes out of nowhere, goes on a good run of form, pulls off some really big results, and they look like a good team again. And I can tell you for a fact, in the dressing room, this is the most Liebert thing. He'll be saying, right, 5 at the back, everyone behind the ball. See Ronaldo kick the shins off him. That's literally what Newcastle's game plan's going to be. In terms of United, now, this is the interesting thing. Newcastle, I do think, have an opportunity here because their midfield's going to be exposed because Pogba isn't going to be playing in like in a proper deep role, and Matic could easily be overran. So Newcastle could get really good chances on the counter attack. And Sancho hasn't. I know United fans refuse to say it. Let's be real. Sancho's been shit so far. Let's be realistic. He's done literally nothing so far for United. I know it's only been 2 games, but he hasn't done anything to make us go. He's done this better than Divock Origi in pre-season. So I don't expect Ronaldo to start this game. I do expect Ronaldo to start. Ronaldo doesn't press off the ball. He does no work at all here. He does no defensive work. He doesn't press. He doesn't run after the ball. He literally will stand there and wait for the ball to come to him. And Solskjaer, as a tactical manager, is absolutely diabolically awful. He is literally the worst tactical. He contests Arteta for like how bad their tactical setup is, except at least Solskjaer has some sort of brains to do certain things. So will he, Newcastle could easily get through Manchester United's press because there isn't going to be a press because everyone's going to be going as one rather than Ronaldo starting the press. So I do see Newcastle having really good opportunities in this game. The midfield definitely will be, I think, an area to attack. And I most definitely expect Newcastle to find some joys on the counter-attack through the press of United. So for those 2 reasons, which are very clinical in football, I see Newcastle do get a draw in this game. And again, just like I said with Arsenal, we're going to have a Manchester United meltdown. Goldbridge, Solskjaer, 8, which we all love to see.
I mean, I'm a big Ole in guy. I've been saying Ole in for many years, and he always does enough to, just enough to keep his job. And I think this signing of Ronaldo is going to be exactly the same because, as you just agreed with me, Josh, that he doesn't run around. Hella saying in the chat, Zlatan was the same age as Ronaldo when he came in, and she'd rather have had a DM than Ronaldo. And she can say it here because she won't get killed. Yes, exactly. No, you won't get killed. You're welcome to voice your opinion here, even if, you could even like Fred if you want. But anyway, Sancho doesn't show up until October. Same at Dortmund. Okay, well, we'll see. Although it's interesting how Ollie said that he basically wasn't fit. But anyway, go back to Cristiano. Connor, his pressing stats, okay? These stats, you get them from FBref. They're brilliant, fbref.com. And they compare all of the forwards in England, Germany, Italy, Spain, and France, right? And what percentile, with 99th percentile being the best and the number one percentile, the first percentile being the worst, what percentile do you think Cristiano Ronaldo has compared to in all of the top 5 league forwards for pressing, Connor?
Probably be, I want to say around like 10 because he does nothing, but I don't think he'll be there.
First, he's the worst in Europe at pressing. Wow. He's the 4th percentile, so 96% of forwards are also better than him at tackling. So he does it. Yeah, he contributes 0. I think in Portuguese it's 0. But I don't know. I might be wrong. Anyway, you're talking to a sock puppet, Connor. I don't know. I want your thoughts on Manchester United against Newcastle. Can Alan Saint-Maximin, my favourite attacker outside of the top 6, can he be, his usual dreamboat self I don't know. What do you think about it all?
I hope so. Like Saint-Maximin he's one of those people where he's just too good for Newcastle, and you already know it. But Newcastle will demand 60 mil for him around there. He probably even more, knowing who's in charge of Newcastle United at the moment. But like I think Saint-Maximin deserves a move elsewhere. I know plenty of people would like him at Liverpool. I know plenty of people would like him at another top 6 club as well. But it's that fact where Newcastle, for me, is where they don't spend money wisely. Look at Joe Linton. Joe Linton was meant to be the next best Brazilian forward, and was obviously a £50 million shocker, you could say. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I think Saint-Maximin, he deserves a move, and I hope he does move as well in the next year.
Well, I mean, that would be one thing if Newcastle managed to get relegated. I don't think they will, but they might if Callum Wilson gets an injury. He's another very underrated player. But if Saint-Maximin, again, another dream signing of mine. There you go. I'll just see. Hang on, I'll just see if we've got anything yet. Jack, do you have anything to add on this?
Yes, it's going to be interesting now if playing Ronaldo does stop the development and progress that Greenwood's. He's been, as much as it's not good to see him flourish at Man United, but he's a terrific talent and
fabulous player.
He will help, like having Ronaldo and Greenwood on the training pitch. He'll learn so much from him. But he's been United's best player this season. Greenwood. Speaking about Harvey Elliott, but he's been positive, but it's whether, obviously, when Man United played Southampton, they drew and they only beat Wolves 1-0. If the games are going in the opposite direction for United, what characters? I don't think Bruno, he's a great player, but I don't think he's a type of player that really will grab the game by the scruff of the neck and really push the team. Ronaldo, as you mentioned, the pressing stats, he don't put him in a wall. You seen him at Juventus last season. He'll run the other way. He'll run outside the stadium. But yeah, him and Varane, Maguire. But I tell you, Ronaldo, as bad as it was to see him go to Man United, he's a terrific player, and he's 36, 37-year-old. He's not going to dissipate really in terms of his quality overnight. I think he will, and he should. Ollie's got a tremendous team. That Man United team, if it was, as Hella mentioned before, if they got a DM, they would be up there for the Prem. But it's whether if McTominay can do the job of the likes of an Ndidi or a Kante. But they've got a terrific team. And I tell you, if Ollie does finish outside the top 4 with that squad, it's whether, and the one big factor of watching when United signed him is, will Ronaldo listen to Ollie? You've seen all the memes this week. Ollie giving him instructions. Ronaldo, the sheer arrogance of him. He knows he's probably one of the greatest ever players to play the game, and rightly so. Will he listen to Ollie? We'll find out in the next coming months. Because when you've got Ollie, and when you've gone from obviously having managers like Sir Alex Ferguson that actually know what they're doing, but there's a lot of big characters in that changing room, and it's like we've seen in Chelsea in certain seasons. When you lose the dressing room reacts in the wrong way.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's a really good point, and I don't know if he will have the. I mean, I hope he has the. He can keep everything together and do just enough yet again to keep his job. It's very interesting though. Hella says Ole was his the striker coach. Yeah,
very different times. So credit.
Very different times. He used to only. He didn't score that many actually, so maybe Ole didn't do the greatest job. I mean, he was all right, but no, he certainly came into his own at Real Madrid, and got the incredible numbers for them, of course. But I don't know. There's so much to talk about. I don't. You guys. By the way, you can chip off whenever you like. I'm going to carry on for and keep plowing through this.
I'm here as long as you want me, Owen. I've got it all night until he jumps in. Me cat.
He's expecting his paycheck after the stream.
No, I'm free of charge. I'm free. I'm a free agent. Anyway, so.
Officially.
Connor likes a packet of wine gums, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Wine gums?
That's what you've said in previous streams I've had with you. So.
I don't know whether or not I've said wine gums. I might have said some sort of, sweets, but not wine gums.
What sweets do you want, man?
It's beyond our budget anyway. Any kind of sweets way beyond our budget. Okay, well let's whoa. Oh yeah, nice. Into the fairyland. Okay. All right. What's next? Southampton, West Ham. David Moyes. If David Moyes married Ralph Hasenhüttl, he would be called David Hasenhüttl, which is almost like David Hasselhoff. And I find that quite funny. I'm glad you did, Jack. I've got some actual real facts for you about this. Hang on, somewhere. God bloody hell, I've got too many things to look at here. West Ham, where are we? Got a Google search what I wrote. Oh yeah, West Ham. Sorry.
Daniel Owen's unprepared. What is this?
No, I'm definitely prepared. It's just too prepared. Can't find it all. Got pages and pages like a dissertation. West Ham have won more Premier League games against Southampton than they have against any other opponent in the competition. And they keep scoring loads of goals of them against them. Southampton have kept just one clean sheet in their last 24 Premier League games, conceding in each of their last 14 since a 2-0 win against Sheffield United in March. It's their longest run without a clean sheet in the competition since September 2016, so that's 16 games without a clean sheet. They're in a lot of trouble, Josh, aren't they, Southampton? I mean, there are other teams also in a lot of trouble, but I don't know. Do you think Adam Armstrong can start, can be the fire that can keep their hearts warm?
I like Southampton, if any club I kind of look at in the Premier League other than Chelsea, that's the club I look at and go, I like this team a lot. I like what they do. I like the idea. I like Hasenhüttl. I like the fans. It's just a shame though, because Hasenhüttl built such a really good team that other players found elsewhere, and I also think that they were exposed and have been exposed for being incredibly open, and we've obviously seen they've conceded a lot of goals. But I think they've actually been doing. To be fair, I think they are a team in transition. They are a team with some players. You think with some of the players, you're wrong. It's some very unproven Premier League players that need to find their feet. So I think they'll start off. Slowly, and they will only grow and get better. I do see them actually getting a draw against West Ham. I think Southampton are going to have a good home form this year. I think they are improving as each game goes on. I think Hasenhüttl is just trying to figure out what players are best at what, because he has got a few new players in the door and has lost quite a good. Losing Danny and Vestergaard to them is critical. That's really, really bad for them. So I think he is just trying to adapt to what he's got. I think they'll actually get a draw against West Ham. West Ham have looked really, really good, but their history at St Mary's isn't actually particularly great. And I think off the back of an international break, I just think it's at Southampton. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Great answer. Absolutely, Connor. I'm always chucking the stats at you. I'm so sorry. I've got another trivia question for all 5 European leagues this season in the opening matches and the opening fixtures. Which player in all of those 5 top leagues has the most goals plus assists so far?
Mikel Antonio.
Yeah, you got it.
I had my hand up there.
Yes, right. Jack was ready to pounce for the bonus.
Who's the second one then, Con?
Very good. Well done, Connor. Oh, sorry. Yeah, who is the second one? You don't know?
No. I'm just throwing at Connor there.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know the second one.
Look, he's just trying to call me out. Look,
so you don't know either. Okay. I think it's level.
It's definitely not Divock Origi. Wait, what?
Well, yeah, not yet. It's not yet. He hasn't had the chance. A double hat trick, maybe.
Hat trick against Leeds. Sounds.
Yeah, at least. But no, yeah, okay, Connor. So, I mean, what do you reckon? I mean, Mikel Antonio, West Ham, everyone's underrating them. Josh is saying Southampton can get a point. What? I don't know. What do you reckon?
I think West Ham win this. I think David Moyes has done a fantastic job at West Ham. Where could he have taken Manchester United all those years ago if they'd actually given him the backing and the trust way back then? Obviously, I'm glad it happened because it's Manchester United.
I've got some breaking news. Manchester United fans are currently jumping out the window after that comment. Like Connor has just made a little noise.
Well, to be fair, it's like me and Jack know, our friend Ryan. We've spoken about them. Man United trying to get a cheap deal for Fellaini and Baines all back then when they were probably the best two in that team. And like David Moyes has done a good job at West Ham. Like what were they? I think they were like 19th.
They were shambles.
Yeah, and the game against Man United, back in lockdown when Pogba, handballed it and it was turned into a meme for a week. And ever since then, West Ham have done brilliantly. Last season, unlucky not to get more than, Europa League football. They had the chance of Champions League football at one stage. So, look, I think they'll do fantastic. Again, the problem is with that is Mikel Antonio. He's done fantastic this season. Looked brilliant so far. If he gets injured, that's the big problem for West Ham. They don't have another player, another forward, then I should say, to replace him in the manner of it. But as long as they can keep Antonio fit, I can see West Ham having a very, very good season. And I think 2-0 against Southampton.
2-0, very good. Okay, let's move on. Leicester, Manchester City. Jack, you can just have the first word here. You can go wherever you like with it. Leicester, Man City should be a tasty one.
Come on, Leicester. No, speaking to me, our good mate boy, he's a massive Leicester fan. He's excited, and Leicester have got a good record against Manchester City. They're a team that Pep Guardiola continuously plays a high line against Jamie Vardy. That's one thing you don't do, but will Pep's arrogance strike again? I think it will. Man City, like Liverpool and probably Chelsea, we've got certain systems to play football, but I think it's an exciting game, and I'm hoping Leicester have got the ability. It'd be interesting to see. Yeah, you were there.
No, just on your point, you forgot one really key thing too about this game. Ederson's Brazilian. Stephen's got COVID. Scar Carson's in goal.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that too.
Jesus Christ, Scott Carson.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
like second Premier League appearance since 2000.
Well, there you go. And another thing that you might have forgotten that Steph the fish told us. Hang on,
Phil Foden. He's got these tiny little thighs, so he's gonna have tiny little pants. They might have something nice on them, something sweet like whales.
So there you go. You didn't know that about Phil Foden with his tiny thighs and his tiny pants. But there you go. Leicester City, Patson Daka scored an absolute screamer in training. I mean, it's just training. But I mean, I don't think even Scott Carson would keep that out. So can Leicester do it? Can they do us a big favour? I don't know. Josh, you reckon Scott Carson's going to... I don't know. He's going to let the side down, let Manchester City down, because they're perfectly capable of going an entire match without conceding a shot, aren't they?
No, because Ruben Diaz is a fraud. He's not as good as people make him out to be. I just don't think Scott. I just feel like Scott Carson's going to make some really bad mistake. Obviously, it could change. Obviously, Ederson could play. This Brazilian thing is very much unknown, and what's going to happen. But Scott Carson does have to play. It's just funny. It's just funny. I feel like Leicester going to get a result king at the King Power. As Jack very much, as Jack's already said, Pep Guardiola just hates Leicester. And I just feel like this is another big game where Pep's just going to overthink it. He's going to make some stupid. He's going to play like Gundogan as a false nine or something bloody ridiculous, and it's just going to screw up Leicester. They'll play this high line. Fardy and Iheanacho will play up front. They'll have Joyce on a few counter attacks, and they'll probably. I don't think they'll win. I think we'll get a draw. And I'm going to go Fardy equalising in the 92nd minute to let the King Power erupt.
Ooh. Wow. Okay, there you go. Hell is saying Leicester 2, City 1. What about you, Connor?
I agree. Leicester for me. I'm going to go. I'm going to go 2-1. I think, like Jack said, Pep's big head will get in the way yet again. When I say that, he just does stuff, doesn't he, in big games where he just overthinks. And the best part about us talking about Scott Carson's the only European Cup winner in Manchester City. So
Yeah.
that's a fantastic start. To be fair, but no, I think Pep will overthink it again, and I think Leicester will win 2-1.
But he brings that in for show and tell, doesn't he? Have you went to every European night, bring your air medal and that.
Excellent stuff. But there you go. None of the last 11 league meetings between Leicester and Man City have finished as a draw, with the Foxes winning 4 to Man City's 7. So there you go. It's always seems to have a winner one way or another. They've won 3. Leicester have won 3 of their last 5 Premier League home games against reigning champions. So they lost 2. They won 3, drew none, and lost 2. So they don't like drawing Leicester City. What's your prediction, Jack? You think?
Yeah, well, I was speaking highly of Leicester, weren't I? But has anyone been watching Shanunchu the last couple of weeks? I think his head's gone.
Oh,
even
really?
when Turkey played, he got sent off this weekend. I was speaking to Boyer as well. He is very concerning, but I'm going to go with a Leicester 1. I know Man City, even if they do play, they play us up front in the false 9, probably still win. For that, especially with Scott Carson in goal as well. We'll go with Leicester 3-1. Fingers crossed. But yeah, if Shanunchu actually stays on the pitch and actually has a decent game, they'll have a good chance. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it could be a high scoring one, but I don't know. I think I'm going to go with City. I really am, because I think City, even with Scotty C in goal, I think they've got a little bit too much because, another stat is that of all Premier League fixtures to have been played at least 20 times, Leicester versus Manchester City is the only one to have been won by the away side more than 50% of the time. So 55% of the time, it's been won by Manchester City over more than 20 times. It's they always win at the King Power. So yeah, I don't know, not always, 55% of the time, but they've got a good record there. Anyway, now. Sorry, we have to move on. Chelsea versus Aston Villa. It's a heck of a match.
Thomas Tuchel. Yeah, I think I saw that guy at a party once dressed as a narwhal. Pretty crazy.
So Thomas Tuchel, I don't know. He likes dressing up at parties, Josh. But he's quite a good football manager, no matter what he gets up to during the week.
I do like Thomas Tuchel. I also think he would be a great crack at a party. He generally does. See, it's funny because outside of the game scenario, he generally looks like he's a really, really good guy. But see, when you're in a game, you'd be wanting to run away from him because he's just that classic really angry German. He's like Klopp. He'll just start yelling at you and bashing at you and stuff. So I can't just the guy. He's won us a Champions League, so I can't sit here and be biased. The Chelsea and Villa game is going to be a really interesting one. I'm not too sure if any of you guys know. I don't know if I get Martinez and Baldini are out of this game. I am assuming they are.
I think both of them are out. Yeah,
because they're quarantining, which is obviously massive. Because Emi Martinez generally has a wonder game against every team he plays, so that's very big for us. Tyrone Mings, he's an awful centre back. I don't know how he's so highly rated by English people. And then Chelsea, so we will be missing Thiago Silva, so Trevor Chalobah will play. No concerns there. I really, really like the guy. I know I have seen a lot of people, I've seen Hallie say 3-1. I have seen people say, I know someone on my predictions video comments said 3-0. I don't think it'll be that easy. First, Aston Villa still have some attacking players that could hurt us. They do have Danny Ings. They've got Leon Bailey. They've still got Ashley Young. I don't know why. Ashley Young's playing as a left winger. It's like going back to the 2001, 2002. Ashley Young, he can't play on the wing anymore. I hope he does play on the wing himself, because I wouldn't be too worried. I trust the defense. Kante is out for the game, which is really, really bad. Pulisic
What's wrong with him? What happened to Kante?
He's got a knee problem. It's an ongoing issue. Pulisic came back from international duty on crutches. He's expected to be out for about 10 to 15 days. So Chelsea are missing those two players. So I expect to see Saul and Jorginho tomorrow. Jorginho and Kovacic tomorrow, and then Saul probably will come off the bench. Still see us winning this game. I think it'll be a 2-0 win. I think Aston Villa's backup goalkeeper is horrifically bad. He's literally awful. I've done a bit of research on him. He does contest that Gian for being one of the worst backups in the league. I think Chelsea will win this game, especially at Stamford Bridge. Won't be really easy, but I expect us to probably get a first and second half goal, and then I can go to sleep after I have him on.
Well, okay, but Villa, I mean, they're doing all right, but how do you think they're reacting? I mean, it's only been 3 games to losing Grealish. I mean, do you think with, Leon Bailey and all these other attacking players that they've bought, I mean, Danny Ings has started well, Connor. I mean, do you think that they'll be all right without Grealish?
Yeah, I think they will. I think all of us pretty much said it after the transfer window that they've signed excellently. I think with Buendia, Bailey, Grealish gone, and bringing in Danny Ings, which was a real shock at the time, but a very good move. And yeah, I think they'll be sound. I think I've got them up with fighting for European football this year, whether that be Conference League or Europa League. And yeah, I think they will have a very solid season. With the game against Chelsea, I'd love them to batter Chelsea, but I just know it's not going to happen. So yeah, I think even Tuchel has got them very, very well run. We know this from playing them. What was it, 2 weeks ago? And yeah, I think with like what Josh said, Noemi Martinez, he's a wonder for them at times, saving them in crucial areas. And I think Chelsea are going to win 3. I'm going to go 3-1. I think they'll win.
3-1. Hella's in the chat there. She says 3-1 as well. Lukaku 2 goals. Kai Havertz 1. I mean, it's very realistic. Oh, okay. It's a very realistic proposition. 3-1. Tommy Tuchel who you mentioned there, Connor. I mean, since his first game in charge of Chelsea, only Manchester City have won more Premier League points than Chelsea. Manchester City have won 51 and Chelsea have won 45. Won 13, drew 6 and lost 3. And Chelsea have the meanest defence in that time with just 14 goals conceded, which is pretty good. And I like the way Tommy Tuchel, I mean, I don't like it, but I think it makes a lot of sense to set up the way he does with those 3 centre-backs. I think it gets the best out of their defence and consequently their entire team. What do you think of those, their defensive solidity? Does it bore the pants off you, Jack?
It's obviously the classic German Bundesliga, similar formation. A lot of German managers in recent years, especially in Europe, have had a lot of success playing 3 or 5 at the back, whatever way you want to look at it. But yeah, the stats speak for themselves, don't you? There, mate, you've written them off. He's come into the Premier League, adapted very well, and with at ease. It's not like he's walked into a terrible squad at Chelsea. He's got World Cup winners, fantastic world-class players in that squad, and it was just a matter of him getting the right combination. And it's I know people have spoke about Jurgen Klopp and Tuchel, but Tuchel coming to a winning side, well, the potential of a winning side, and you look at parallels in terms of the squad in which Klopp inherited. I think both of them have done very different jobs, but very good jobs anyway. Charismatic German, as the lads were mentioning, but yeah, I'm going to go with a Chelsea win, mate. It's difficult with Aston Villa. They've not hit the ground running. I think obviously off the back of selling Grealish, I think a lot more people expected them to really perform a bit more better this season, mate. But obviously, you've picked the 3-2 loss against Watford, and then the win against Newcastle, and then the draw against Brentford. But I think if Danny Ings playing this weekend, lads?
I would
believe
say
so.
I don't. Nothing else I know of.
Yeah. So I think if you can get him scoring, and it always causes teams a lot of threats, really. But I can see just a Chelsea win, mate. Go 3-1 Chelsea.
3-1 Chelsea. There you go. I mean, that'll be fine. Speaking of charismatic Germans, I wonder, if Angela Merkel. I mean, I asked her if Angela Merkel, how she would feel if Chelsea just keep winning and winning and winning, and she just sent back this selfie. So she's not a Chelsea fan, despite Tommy Tuchel, being a compatriot. But there you go. It's Chelsea are definitely the closest challengers to us, I think. I mean, I say definitely. Chelsea, City, and Liverpool are the top three. And then there's a 5-point gap to Man United, a 5 to 10 point gap to Man United, in my opinion, if Liverpool stay relatively injury free. Of course, some people are bound to go down with injuries, but if we don't have the catastrophic luck, then I think Chelsea are real challengers this year. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, I would agree. I think me and Josh, we spoke about it on my channel, and I personally said it was between us and Chelsea for the title this year. I still stick by that. I think looking at it now with the transfer window shut and looking at the squads, you look at the squads as a whole, Man City and Chelsea are way ahead in terms of depth in quality. And Liverpool, like you said, Owen, if Liverpool get lucky with injuries this year and don't have the misfortune as we had last year, Liverpool will be up there again. But it's like that. We've spoken about Liverpool being the underdogs. Liverpool are the underdogs for the title this year, and that's how Jurgen likes it. He likes the rocky story. He likes Chelsea and City being the top dogs, and Liverpool just getting there and getting the job done. But look, Chelsea for me are the favourites to win the league. Now looking at Lukaku, Havertz, getting into the team, they still got a team of Werner. I think he could still be a good player, even though he missed an open goal again for Germany.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Is it death, taxes, and Timo missing a big chance, guaranteed?
Yeah, that is the fact.
Just when you talk about Liverpool, so obviously you guys suffered a really bad injury crisis. So I'll try to put this into good context. So the NFL team I support, the Ravens. Wait until you hear this, okay? So on September the 6th, one of our defensive players tore his ACL, so he's out for the season. And then J.K. Dobbins, so our free running backs. So basically, say imagine you're a front three of Liverpool, all right? Our starting free running backs all tore their ACLs.
Wow.
And then our starting cornerback, basically say a starting centre back, he tore his ACL yesterday. The running back and the quarterback tore their ACL on back-to-back plays in training. And then someone else tore their ACL in training today. So that's 5 torn ACLs we've suffered this season. So I know exactly how.
What did he do in training? The medical director's definitely been sacked.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're the Ravens. They've been raving too much. I don't know.
I know how you guys felt about injury last season. The fact that we've had 5 torn ACLs this year and before the season's even kicked off it's something else. Honestly, I still kind of we've literally had to bring in. I'm trying to think in my head here. We've in terms of running backs, so our starting 3 running backs are injured and they're all young. So we've had to bring in the equivalent of say Zlatan, Lovren, and I'm trying to think of some other old player that is like he used to be relevant but isn't anymore. Falcao. Like we've had to bring in guys who were really, really good in their prime, but are like guys who are no more than backups now. So yeah, I know how you guys felt last year. I apologize to every Liverpool fan who I laughed off our last season. So I'm going to be suffering to see him in the NFL this year. So sorry guys. Forgive me.
No, it's great. It's nice to go off on tangents. Nice to learn from other sports as well. That Liverpool are not alone with the awful luck we had, and I'm sorry to hear that because that is really I don't like it when anyone gets injured. Hello, commenting now about Timo Werner. Yes, of course. But there you go. So Chelsea Villa. I think Chelsea too much. We'll have too much for Villa. And with their reserve goalkeeper, if he's as bad as you say, then they'll definitely. It'll be really, really tough. But for Villa, but there you go. What's the last one? The last one. Oh yeah, Monday, Everton Burnley.
At the Burnley.
Copper Del Park, the bus, that game, innit?
Copper Del Park, the bus,
I'm good to ask. What smart man in Sky Sports picked us for Monday Night Football?
I honestly can't wait to see Gary Neville and Carragher just rip this game to shreds. There'll be one talking point. Hopefully that's what happens the weekend.
Would you rather watch Everton and Burnley or the best podcast on a Monday night on YouTube and the World Football Podcast?
Yes, exactly. It's way. I mean, to be honest, would I rather watch? I don't know. Would I rather watch an ant crawl, across a 5-mile beach? In fact, that'd be quite interesting. In a sort of artistic way. Would I rather watch?
Richarlison
stain on my wall. I think I'd rather watch this stain on my wall than Everton Burnley. But Rafa is doing well. They've started well. Connor, are you at all a little bit, concerned that Everton might be, it's not exactly the power shift, but
that first Connor game was just, you could just tell Connor's going to come up with the best response humanly possible. I look forward to this.
Well, absolutely not. It's like Rafa's finally got Everton playing the way that they want to play, and that is the Liverpool way. Finally, after years and years and years of trying to figure out how to play the Liverpool way, that's just hire a former Liverpool manager, and that can work. But no, look, Everton, Rafa is given it's like, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a Norwegian tactic that in chess, I think, where they just give them an advantage, and then then the downfall happens then of Everton, and that's what's going to happen. Richarlison is going to do a stupid. He's the only player, I think, in the Premier League I would love a ball to smack into his face. That sounds really mean, but I would just love it.
It's the pigeon dance he does. What?
Oh, it's so dumb.
He calls himself the rooster, but I don't know. There's a synonym of rooster, and that's cock, and I think that suits him a lot more. But there you go. Yeah, he's not a very nice guy. He's. I mean, he spoke about having Tommy Tuchel at a party, at a house party. That might. I agree. I think he'd be good. Good company, Tommy T. But Richarlison, he'd bring his mates. They get drunk. They trash the gaff. You don't want him anywhere near your house party. But anyway,
you sure Richarlison was a bit of a twat, as I like to say, with that.
Watford.
With the penalty, when he tried to take it off, when he tried to take off Cavalier and stuff,
absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, he's just, I don't know, he's not the freshest sandwich in the picnic, he's not the brightest star in the sky, he's not the juiciest kiwi in the punnet, and I just think I don't know.
He's so overrated, isn't he? For me, when you watch his game, obviously he's probably better playing out wide, but there's a carnival atmosphere when he goes to Brazil, and obviously PSG were linked with him, rumoured on Sky Sports with him. If Mbappe went the other way, he wanted to bring him in. I just couldn't understand.
To Everton?
Yeah, no, imagine. It's another parallel universe. We're going into Marvel multiverse or something. But yeah, imagine if that happened. I'd be like, I thought this was Liverpool. But yeah, no, it triggers me. Just the name Richarlison. Other names that he could use, but he's probably one of the most overrated. And even our mate Ryan, good mate, he's quite level-headed for an Evertonian. There is some of them out there. But even he says he goes to games as well, season ticket, and he says he doesn't understand. And when he analyses Richarlison's game week in, week out, he's like, what does he do? Is he a goal scorer, creator? He just...
He's... these stats. It's a very, very good point, because if you do analyse his game, if you do look at the stats, I mean, he got 6 goals last season. Ancelotti at the start of the season wanted him to get 30, and he got 6. In terms of non-penalty goals, he's in the 48th percentile. Assists, the 22nd percentile. Shot creating actions, the 24th percentile. So 76% of attacking midfielders or wingers are better than him. This is comparing to attacking midfielders or wingers. And if you compare him to forwards, then I don't know, his non-penalty goals, he's in the 16th percentile. So I don't know. He usually plays out wide because he's no good as a forward. I don't know why he plays for Brazil there, but he is actually in the 94th percentile for something. So he's really high to be in the 94th percentile.
Diving, it's a diving, Owen.
Diving. It's something equally, well, not even as useful as diving. Clearances. So if you want someone to hoof it clear in your own box, get Ricky.
It'd be good in the Burnley system. Do you reckon I would put him in a Burnley system?
Yeah, it'd be great. Burnley, yeah.
No wonder he talks about Virgil van Dijk every opportunity he gets. He wants to be a defender.
Oh, good lord! Yeah, no, he's really quite odious, I think. But there you go. But on that sour note, Richarlison, I'd rather end on a happier note. I don't know. So final things. I mean, Leeds, Liverpool. Just to go back to that one, because we've got, Liverpool fans here. We're going for a Liverpool victory, are we? I mean, is it no one's going against a Liverpool victory? Is that right?
3-1.
Josh.
Excellent.
Liverpool. I'm actually going to be nice to you for once. I'm going to agree with a Liverpool win.
A Liverpool win.
I just feel like for once I have to be nice for Connor. I have to, I have to.
That's very generous of you, Josh. And there you go.
Sure.
And we're also go on.
Just one thing very quickly. His country couldn't do what my country did, and that's beat Estonia. So,
Oh yeah, okay, It's Estonia are a good team. No, that's another one I'm glad on. This 0-0 Wales.
To be fair, Josh, you say this, I'm just not asked.
Yeah, that's right. Wales fans care about the rugby more than the football. But there you go. Anyway, I think we'll bring it to a close, I guess. I want to thank you so much, Connor and Jack and Josh. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me on this.
It's great. So, I mean, I don't know, Jack, tell everybody about your YouTube channel and what you're up to these days.
Yeah, it's just Jack Mac LFC. I need to kick up the backside. I haven't been as productive this week, but it's great to come on, Owen. Really do appreciate you asking. I'll probably do a post-match to the Leeds game. Hopefully get you on, Owen, and Connor be free. But yeah, fingers crossed Liverpool can get all 3 points. But I do always love speaking to every single one of you and everyone in chat as well. Have a lovely weekend. But please on.
It's great. Thank you very much, Jack. Connor, what would you like to say about your goings on?
Yes, I'm pretty much in the same boat as Jack. I haven't been as active as I've wanted to be on YouTube over the last week. But to be fair, I am going to be live at 9 if anyone wants to come along. And also as well, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a look at a certain Borussia Dortmund man next week called Jude Bellingham.
Oh, Jude. Hey, Jude. I mean, he's made for Liverpool to say. We're going to sing Hey, Jude to him. It's going to be excellent. Yeah, go to Chelsea because he'll double the wages. Hella says, thank you, guys. Enjoy the football. Thank you very much for staying with us. It's absolutely great. And thanks to everybody who stayed with us. Thank you all. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Josh, what have you got? Not just, in the pipeline, but, spurting out.
good question because I don't know myself.
okay.
Currently recovering from something which all three of you know about. So time scale is a bit on. Time scale is currently unknown. Same with work. I don't know when I'm back at work and all, but I hope to be back soon enough. Big thank you to Doug and Reece for recording the predictions video for my channel. That was put up at 8:00 today. So at least I managed to still get that out. And I said the only thing I'm pretty much guaranteed is it will be live on Doug's channel, 7 p.m. for the World Football Podcast. I'll be hosting it because Doug. I don't want to say because I don't think Doug's told everyone yet, but Doug's going to be doing something that he can't be on the podcast for. So I think I'll be doing all of it. But other than that, I don't want to say anything to you. Actually, I don't really know myself.
Is he getting knighted?
Well, he's currently suffering from a hangover, so you don't know what Doug is. You never know what Doug is doing these days. He was very hungry. He said he got very drunk yesterday. So he's suffering from a bad hangover today. But so in terms of my own child, I don't know what's happening yet, but I'll hopefully be back.
He's had a good night then. Yeah.
Oh, he's had a very good night, honestly. Yeah. So I'm sure you've all been there.
Yeah.
I gave up alcohol 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Best decision of my life, I've got to say, because I mean it's I had a lot of fun, believe me. I'm 41 years old and I drank from age, I don't know, I was too young when I started, but about 25 years I of good I tried my best, guys, but ultimately I just think, the positive of the few hours of happiness followed by the many hours of feeling bad. And Doug, if you're still in the chat, get well soon, brother. I don't look down on people who choose to drink. I just think that it's nice to not bother, and you always have a clear head.
Oh, I know. I'm probably the very, very young compared to you. I'm only 19, but I've never been drunk in my life, so I can't. I can't make much of a comment on it.
Don't worry, Josh. I'm in the exact same boat. I've never been drunk.
Oh yeah. Oh well, good. Okay. Well, honestly, guys, you're not missing. You're not missing much. But there you go. But anyway, Josh, in terms of all the best to you. It's absolutely brilliant to see you, and you're looking well. And all of our thoughts are with you, and we wish you all the very, very best with your recovery and everything. So it's been brilliant to have you here, and brilliant to have you all. So thank you all, and thank you again, everybody who's watching. Let's all enjoy the football, as Hella said, because the football, the real one, is back. We don't need to bother about any of the like Malta. It was Malta against Cyprus. Even I'm Maltese.
Probably decent holiday destinations.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like, was there holidays under the sun or something? Probably that's better than the actual game itself.
Yeah, I mean, do go there, do visit there. Beautiful, beautiful place. But visit there and go to the football supporters clubs, and you can watch some Premier League. It's much more fun. Thanks everyone, and speak to you soon. I hope. Take care. Bye bye. See you later.